Afternoon, folks. Welcome back. Tuesday afternoon, the 13th day of June 2023. This week's casket, dateline tomorrow the 14th. Attic consolidation, historic opportunity, blah, blah, blah. Signed by one Herb DeLaurie, who was a warden of this county some years ago. And we had the saintly Highland Fraser, probably the finest warden Antigonish County had in modern times, next to Angus McQuarrie. Under Angus McQuarrie, the light industrial park came at Lower Sut River. Under Highland Fraser, the first major commercial assessments came up on Post Road at Market Street, and supermarket and other stuff followed, and car dealership and office supply place and so on. He was a fantastic warden. Okay, fantastic warden. Anyway, due to shenanigans, the Lorry guy was there, and after the Lorry guy, there was Bushy guy. Now, they take just last week when the budget was set, they pointed out that the residential tax rates in Nova, I believe, were the second lowest, maybe Richmond's lower, second or third lowest in the province of Nova Scotia. And the commercial tax rates are the lowest in Nova Scotia. So when you're second or third place in residential, and you're the lowest in commercial, how can you gain from consolidation? Okay, we have said it before, and we'll say it again. Antigonish is one community. People who live together with shared cultures, work together in diverse industries, and rely on one another for our social and economic well-being. Well, the town can be the town, the people want to be the town, the county can be the county. Okay, under Herb DeLaurie as warden, there was fighting cat and dog with a wonderful gentleman, they called him Ronnie Elbows MacDonald. He was a long-serving mayor. Mrs. Donnelly, saintly Father Donnelly's younger brother, Martin, his wife Mary Sparky, they call her, Mary Sparky Donnelly. She had a lot of spark in her. She lived well in her 90s. Anyway, she made the comment, Ron Elbows MacDonald knows your name when the election's not on. Keep that in mind, folks. Ron Elbows MacDonald knows your name when the election's not on. He was a wonderful gentleman in his own right. DeLaurie couldn't get along with his own clerk treasurer. They didn't have CEO then, it was called clerk treasurer. Alan Bond, a saintly, wonderful gentleman. I think he was next to Doris Flicka. I think he was probably the longest serving, in my lifetime to date, longest serving clerk treasurer. Doris Flicka served under previous wardens. She was a wonderful lady too in her own right. Anyway, they taken the town. Now this letter's also signed by Val Chisholm. So everybody knows he's Val Chisholm's son. He's not just Carl Chisholm, he's Carl Val Chisholm. The people have a right to know that Carl Val Chisholm and his wife live in an apartment, condominium, suite, whatever you want to call it, upstairs on Main Street, Antigonish, just a couple of 100 feet up from the town office, over the former Royal Canadian Legion building. So one could say they're pissing in the same pot. They get out the door in the morning and see one another. They're certainly drinking the same purple Kool-Aid. Okay, pissing in the same pot, whatever you want to call it. And he's a former mayor of Antigonish, and after he was mayor, he went up to what? He lived up on a semi-gated or exclusive community up on Hawthorne Street, across from used to be Robert's convenience store. Now it's a new name, Hawthorne Convenience, I think it's called. Anyway, back to the thing. If at no point they put all these fucking letters out, there was the previous week's reporter. They embossed it some, put new graphics in it, new font in it, put a big spread in this week's casket, dateline tomorrow, which came today. And they're printed a couple of days ahead. What a wonderful thing it is. Well, people, think about it. Just recently, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and actually 3 issues back, 2 weeks ago, there was an item there was an item in the casket, and there's a bond issue, authorization to borrow, whatever you want to call it, $19,400,000 to upgrade, modernize the electrical utility and Ankenis's distribution lines. So that's almost $20 million. That's 1/50 of $1 billion. That says nothing of Lori Bushy, her solar garden she calls it, and her windmill. That's a lot of debt and expenditures for a small town. And she was on a podcast back during the last year or so, a little bit earlier. And one lady mentions about the town of Ankenis Electric Utility. Then another didn't answer the question fully. Another guy came on, lives up Lock Harbor Road, and asked her, and she just jumped down, the follow-up question, and just jumped down his throat. The electric lives in town. It's for the town. Not for the fringe area, not for the county, it's the town. So why would the people, if we're the lowest residential property tax rates in, or second or third, in Nova Scotia, and the lowest commercial rates, how can you improve upon that? Okay? Nobody, not one of them, not the potbelly pig, one alias Pontius Pilate Owen McCarran, not the snot. Every time you ask them a direct question, they tell you the next council's going to decide. Well, there's going to be one fucking busy council. The next council decides. Will you buy a car or a vehicle if everything they ask you, what's the mileage, blah, 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 what's the warranty? Well, you'll know once you buy it. What's the mileage? Well, you'll find out once you drive it a while and fill it up. Blah, blah, blah. Trust the people. Let them vote. And the people have clearly expressed their wishes. They don't want it. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees on the county's part. And they won't even tell us exactly what they spent. They spent hundreds of it. They spent upwards towards a couple of $100,000 now. You have an $800 an hour lawyer out of Halifax. So, look, these are yesterday's folks. We're today. And there's no way you're going to merge with the town and not have increased property taxes. And I mentioned electric utility. You're going to have to pay for their constantly, a lot more than it used to be. The pipes are breaking with quite frequency now. Are breaking in town. Do we want to pay higher property taxes to fix the pipes in town? I don't think so. With that, read the article. It's on page 4 of this week's casket. And the people have clearly expressed they don't want it. If it's so fucking good, why doesn't McCarran, Pontius Pilate, Potbelly Pig, whatever you want to call him, and a snot, Lori Bushy, let the people vote? Don't you think the people can make up their own mind? Again, you have in the county, the lowest commercial tax rates in Nova Scotia, and the second or third lowest residential tax rates in the province. How can you get better? With that, I got to go. I wish you all the best. God bless. Thank you very much. Bye for now.